Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started in another minute or two. Go ahead and set up your mat. Have your water ready. Blocks, blankets, any other assistance you may like to use today. Welcome to my first YouTube live stream. I have been using Facebook up until now, but we'll give YouTube a try today. So I was going to bring this up on my phone just to see how it's going. All right. So let's get started today, and I invite you to start in a reclined rest. It's coming down to your back. Bring your feet to the edges of your mat and let your knees fall in together so you're not using any effort in your legs. You can rest your hands on the floor, on your belly, to your sides, overhead, whatever feels good to you. Close your eyes and just breathe naturally here. Notice the pace of your breath, the depth of your breath, any softness, smoothness, or lack thereof. Just take note of where you're starting from today. Then check in physically. Notice any areas that may be tight, sore, asking for a little extra care, a little more gentleness today. And noticing areas that may feel a little more open, energized, ready for that little extra push. And then check in mentally. Notice any thoughts or feelings bubbling around in your head. Anything that may be trying to distract you. And start to bring some intention onto your mat. So breathing intentionally, moving from unconscious breathing to conscious breathing. Try breathing a little more fully and deeply into your belly. So the more you practice this full belly breath, the more naturally it comes. Try not to use a push and a pull of your abdominal muscles. Try to let your breath and your diaphragm create the movement. With each inhale, your belly fills with air and energy, inflating. Exhaling, it deflates, release everything out your nose. I invite you to move with a balanced breath today. So finding a comfortable pace, inhaling and exhaling for the same number of counts. I like to offer 4, but if you have a different number, go for it. It doesn't matter what number. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow you breathe or count. You're trying to create a comfortable and sustainable breath for this entire practice. So it doesn't matter where you get to physically, keep checking in with this breath. Notice this breath that you're creating right now. Try to carry it with you the entire practice. And becoming a little more intentional with your physical body. Notice any areas that you may be engaging, tensing, tightening. Try to encourage them to relax. Know that there's nowhere to fall to right now. You're completely supported by your floor, your mat. Any props you may have set up, they're here for you too. Notice if you're squeezing your jaw, shoulders are finding your way to your ears. Maybe you're tensing your glutes, your thighs, Encourage your physical body to relax, to let go. As your physical body becomes more relaxed, you may start to feel heavier, like you're melting into the floor. You're becoming a little more intentional with your state of mind, setting aside any mental distractions. Anything that's important to you can wait for you after your practice. And the things that are not so important, maybe you just practice letting those go. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And I invite you to set an intention for this time today. It can be whatever you'd like, but today I offer you to embrace discomfort. So acknowledging the difference between discomfort and pain is huge in order for this intention to fully work. But physically moving into those stretches, those balances, those areas where you thought maybe you can't quite do that, maybe it's a little uncomfortable, but as long as it's not painful, that's good. That's where you're growing. Maybe finding a little discomfort mentally and noticing that you're holding something you don't really need at all. But you do want to find comfort in your breath. So don't let that breath get uncomfortable. Start to heel toe your feet in towards each other. Lift your feet up off the mat. Draw your knees towards your chest. Rest your hands on the floor. So pointing your fingertips towards the bottom of your mat. Palms are wide. Eyes can be open or closed here. And start to stretch your feet up towards the ceiling. Toes are flexed towards your knees. It's okay if your legs don't straighten out completely. Bend those knees as generously as you need to. Try to keep your lower back relaxed on the mat. Really press through your heels as if you're trying to touch the ceiling above you. And then point your toes, stretching out the tops of your feet, the front of your ankles. Keep reaching through those toes as if you're trying to ballerina walk across the ceiling. And relax your feet. Drop your knees to the outsides of your ribs. Reach your hands on the insides of your legs. Pull onto the outsides of your feet, your ankles, calves. Maybe you reach around and hold the backs of your thighs. It's coming into a happy baby. Again, keeping your lower back relaxed on the mat. If your booty starts to lift up, you may be pulling too hard with your knees. So let your knees come away from your chest a little bit. Now start to rock from side to side here. Find a little movement. Maybe you turn your gaze away from your rock. Get a little movement in your neck. And come back to center. Bring your knees together in front of your chest. Squeeze into a tight little ball. Reach your nose up towards your knees. Maybe you wrap your arms around your shins. Maybe you hold on to your feet. Maybe you hold on to the backs of your legs. Whatever is accessible here. And then roll over onto your right side. And press yourself up to seated. Coming into Sukhasana or easy pose. Doesn't matter which leg's in front. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your palms down to your heart. Keeping your palms together, inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, separate your hands, flip them out, away and down. Inhale, palms up, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, together and down. Keeping your palms together, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, reach out and wide. And again, inhale, up. Exhale, together and down. Keep your palms together. Inhale, up. And this time, hold them here. See if you can press your palms together and make your elbows wider. Slowly bringing your thumbs in front of your forehead. So come to your third eye. Close your eyes. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, float your hands away and down. Good. Take a few shoulder rolls, roll them back. Roll them forward. I'm going to stretch out your legs. We're going to bring the sole of your left foot into your right thigh and square up towards your left leg. Move any flesh out from under your seat so you're grounding through your sits bones. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward about 45 degrees if you can make it that far. So you're keeping your spine straight here. You're not hunching into your fold. Try to keep your arms up by your ears. Try not to let your head fall down or crank your neck up. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, release your hands down to the floor. Slowly walk your hands forward. Melt your chest towards your thigh. Keep some space between your chin and your chest, so make sure you're not crunching into your fold. Toes are flexed towards your knee. Inhale, walk your hands back towards your body. Lift your torso up. And untwist, stretch your left leg out, bring the right foot into your left leg. Same thing, other side. So squaring up towards your left leg first, inhale, stretch up, exhale, 45 degrees. So using a little bit of your core strength here. Another inhale here. Exhale, melt forward. Remember, chin away from chest. Keep your throat open. Breathe easy. Inhale, walk your hands back towards your body. Come upright, untwist, stretch your right leg out. Shake them out, slap them out, and then meet me in tabletop. So coming to your hands and your knees are aligned right underneath your hips. You want your femur bones to be parallel with each other. So not too wide, not too narrow, parallel. When you look back between your knees, you don't want to see your feet. Bring your wrists under your shoulders. Draw your navel towards your spine so you're not hammocking your belly here. Really press into your hands. See if you can create a little more space between your shoulder blades. And then turn your elbow creases forward for a slight shoulder rotation. Crown of your head is reaching forward, gaze is down, neutral neck. And inhale, hammock your belly, reach your heart forward, coming into cow pose. Take a few moments here. Oftentimes we will right through cow and cat. We don't really take time to breathe fully in each pose. We'll take a few moments here. Notice if your shoulders are starting to reach up towards your ears. Keep your neck long. Keep pressing into the mat. Then exhale. You're going to lift your spine up towards the ceiling. Let your head dangle down. Look back towards your thighs. Still pressing your hands into the mat. Rounding into cat pose. Inhale, coming back to cow. And exhale to cat. Moving with your own breath here. Take a few rounds. Get your spine moving. okay if you're a little tight and your cow and your cat aren't very drastic today. It's whatever feels better in your body. Let's take one more cow. And here we'll take a sassy cat. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left hip and shoulder together. Create space throughout the right side of your rib cage. Maybe even looking back over that left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, right hip and shoulder come together. Create space on your left side. And a few more times. Inhaling to center. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Let's follow your own breath here. Take one more to the left, one more to the right, and meet me back in neutral tabletop. From here, bring your big toes together, bring your knees towards the edges of the mat, reach your forehead towards the floor, and sink your hips towards your heels. It's okay if your hips are lifted. You can even tuck a blanket in between your thighs and your calves if you like that extra support. You can support your forehead here using your arms or a block or anything else under your forehead. Child's pose is a resting pose, so it's a great place to come back to anytime you'd like to take some rest. It's also a great place to come back to if you need a few moments to reconnect with your breath, your intention, your purpose for being here today. Take another inhale here, and with your exhale, walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. So try to keep your hips right where they are, keep your feet and your knees right where they are. Allow your spine to curve sideways. So you're getting a side bend, you're opening up through the right side body. Inhale, bring your hands back to center, and exhale, walk your hands over to the right side. Same thing, other direction. So getting that stretch through your left side body as you curve to the right. This side may look or feel different from the first side. That's totally fine. Do what feels good to you. Inhale, walk your hands back to center, and exhale, relax. One more round of breath right where you are. And then meet me back in that neutral tabletop. Good. So from here, we're going to inhale. You're going to stretch, plant your left hand under your face. Inhale, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, throw your right arm under your left. Relax your right shoulder down, followed by your head. You can keep this left hand right where it is. You can stretch it out towards the front of your mat like in a child's pose. Or you can wrap it behind your back, reaching towards your right hip for a little bit more of a chest opener. And then you want most of your upper body weight to be in your shoulder rather than in your head. So if you feel like you're putting a lot of weight in your head, put a blanket or a block or something underneath to help elevate it. One more big breath in. And a full breath out. Bring that left hand back on in front of your face. Inhale, press up, stretch the right arm back up towards the ceiling. And exhale, float it down, going right into the other side. Put the right hand under your face. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, swoop the left arm under and through. Relax down onto your left shoulder, and then your head. And then decide where you want that right hand to be this time. Again, it's okay if this side wants something different from the first side. Honor your body, honor what it's asking for. And bring that right hand back in front of your face. Inhale, press into the mat, lift your left arm up. And exhale, swoop it back down. Let's take another round of cow-cat. Inhale, hammock your belly. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, round your back. And inhale, back to neutral. Now from here, come down onto your elbows. So your elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Middle fingers are pointing forward. Press your hands into the mat so you're not putting all your weight into your elbows. Then walk your knees back till you come with your hips on the floor, coming into your Sphinx pose. So toes are pointing behind you. You're pressing your legs down. And then reach your heart forward with an inhale. Try to keep your spine long here. And with an exhale, lower your forehead to the floor. Slide your hands back by your chest. So you can stay with that Sphinx pose if you prefer. Otherwise, we're going to go into a cobra pose. Inhale, lifting your chin and chest up, pressing your hands into the mat, lifting up a little higher. You want to keep your lower belly down on the floor, shoulders back, chest open, neck is long. Your legs are still active here, pressing into the floor beneath you. Another inhale here. Exhale, release back down. Bring your right cheek to the mat. Rest your arms beside you. Maybe even wiggle out your hips or windshield wiper your feet if you'd like. Allow your spine to neutralize and relax for a moment. Now when you're ready, start to bend into your left foot or into your left knee. Reach back with your left hand. Hold on to your foot, your ankle, whatever's accessible here. Bring your forehead to the floor. Just draw your heel in toward your hip. With an inhale, press your foot into your hand, allow your chest to lift up. You can bring your right arm forward for support here. So half bow pose. With your next exhale, go ahead and lower your forehead back down. Release that push with your foot. And then release your foot, letting it come back down to the mat. We'll go right into the other side. So from here, you're going to bend into your right knee. Reach back with your right hand. Grab what you can. It's also a great place to use a strap, a belt, scarf. If you can't really reach your foot, use your tools. Forehead comes to the floor. And now press your foot into your hand, or your foot into your hand. You can bring your left arm forward for support. Chest is open, reaching forward. Another inhale here. Exhale, release back down. Release your foot. Stack both hands. Rest your forehead on your hands so you have room between your nose and the mat. You can breathe easily. Allow your entire body to relax here for 2 breaths. When you come to your third inhale, bring your palms under your shoulders. Meet me back in tabletop. From tabletop, inhale, stretch your left foot back. Exhale, take a big step forward. Bring your foot in between your hands. If it doesn't make it all the way there, use your hands to get it up there. You want your ankle underneath your knee. It's okay if your knee is back a little bit. You just don't want it forward. When you're ready, lift your torso. Coming up into a supported lunge. Then you can adjust the back knee here. If you want more stretch in that right hip, scoot your knee back. If you want less stretch, scoot your knee forward. And from here, inhale, lift your arms up. Turn your pinkies towards each other for a little rotation in your shoulders. Stay strong in your lower back. Make sure you're not sinking here. You're not pushing your belly forward. Stay strong. Take another inhale. Then exhale, sweep your hands down by your hips. Lean your chest forward. Don't lean onto your thigh. Just notice the shifting of weight. Inhale, bring your arms back up. Pinkies towards each other. Exhale, lean forward. Sweep your arms back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sweep. And one more time. Inhale, up. And exhale, sweep. Interlace your fingers, leave your pointers free. Inhale, reach your heart forward and right up towards the ceiling. Point your fingers towards the floor. Big stretch of the shoulders and your chest. Take another breath in. Exhale, start to bow forward, coming to the inside of your thigh. Stretch your arms away from your lower back. Inhale, come back up, release your hands, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, release them down to the floor. And then step back to your tabletop. Bring your big toes together, bring your knees to the edges of the mat, and sit back in your child's pose. Take 4 breaths here. And when you come to that 5th breath, or as you're ready, meet me back in tabletop. Great time for a little water break if you'd like. So from your tabletop, we're going to inhale, stretch that right foot back. Exhale, big step forward. Do what you got to do to get that foot up towards your hands. And when you're ready, lift your torso. Good. Again, make sure you're not sinking into your lower back here. Nice strong core. Inhale, arms up, pinkies towards each other. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Sweep your hands back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sweep. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sweep. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sweep. This time interlace those fingers, pointers free. Inhale, lift your heart forward and then up. Reach your hands down towards the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge to the inside of your thigh. Reach your hands away from your lower back. Inhale, lift back up, release your hands, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Come back to tabletop and take 4 more breaths in your child's pose. When you come to your fifth breath, or when you're ready, meet me back in tabletop. And then this time we're going to tuck the toes underneath, lift your hips up, push them back, downward facing dog. So bend into your right knee, straighten your left leg, and then go back and forth, bend into the left knee, straighten your right leg. This is called walking your dog, pedaling it out. It helps stretch out the back sides of your legs, brings a little more movement to your lower body joints. And come to stillness here. It's okay if your heels don't touch. If you want to lift up your heels, that's fine. You can even bend your knees more to help create that length in your spine. So you don't want to round into it here so that you can reach your feet down further. So nice long spine, let your head dangle down. Really press into your hands as if you're pressing your mat away from you. Make sure you're putting weight all the way around your hands, so all down to each of your finger pads, not just in the heel of your hand. And then using an inhale, look up, take baby steps up to the front of your mat. Walking your hands, or walking your feet behind your hands. Bend your knees generously so your belly rests on your thighs. Grab onto opposite elbows and let your upper body hang. Ragdoll. If you want to shift from side to side here, go for it. And come back to stillness, back to center. Release your elbows. Inhale, slowly roll your spine up. Stack each vertebra above the last. Move slowly with intention. Let your arms just dangle down. Your head dangles down. Eventually making your way up to standing. Roll your shoulders back. Bring your big toes together. Coming to mountain pose. Close your eyes. Tune back into your breath. Notice if you're still using that full belly breath or if you're breathing into your chest. Notice if you still have that nice balanced, steady pace going on. And from here, go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Turn sideways on your mat and widen your feet to about 4 feet in between them. Your toes are pointing forward or inward slightly. And you may want a block here just in case. We're going to go through a little bit of movement. So we're going to start with arms wide, star pose. Inhale here. Exhale, you're going to hinge forward, bring your right hand down to the floor or a block, going into a twist. Good, so that's step one. You're welcome to stay here. Or you can use an inhale, stretch your left arm out to the side or in front, depending on how you want to think about that. So overhead, so your bicep is up by your ear. Exhale, stretch that left arm back up towards the ceiling. You're turning to your twist. And then inhale, come back up, 5-pointed star. So that's the pattern. We'll do it again on the other side. I'm going to inhale here. Exhale, twist and fold. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up. Inhale, option to reach overhead. Bicep by your ear. Exhale, reach your arm back up. Inhale, 5-pointed star. So you can go nice and slow like that. I'm going to guide you through 2 more sets on each side, but I'm going to move with each breath. So again, if you want to go slow, that's fine. If you want to go that each breath to movement, each movement to breath, feel free to do that with me. So we're going to start here. Inhale. Exhale, twist and fold, right hand down. Inhale, left arm overhead. Exhale, left arm up. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, left hand down, right arm up. Inhale, left arm overhead. Exhale, left arm up. Sorry, right arm up. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, right arm down. Inhale, left arm overhead. Exhale, left arm up. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Last one. Exhale. Inhale to reach. Exhale to reach. Inhale, come up. And exhale, fold forward. Let both hands come down to the floor or your blocks. Let your head dangle down. And then whatever you want to do in your fold here, you can walk your hands back in between your feet. You can walk them behind you. You can walk them to your ankles or your toes. You can keep them right here under your shoulders. Whatever feels good to you, take a few moments of breath here. Release your spine, shoulders, neck. Then inhale, walk your hands underneath your shoulders, lengthen your spine, half lift. Bring your hands up to your hips, hover here. Using an inhale, slowly lift back up. And exhale. Good. So from here, you're going to turn your body back to the front of your mat. Then you're going to take a step back with your right foot. Bend into your left knee. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your right hand down to the floor. Stretch your left arm overhead. So you want to lift up through the back of your right knee. Don't let your knee bend unless you're resting on your knee. So you want to keep your hips nice and strong here, stable. Stretching your hips feels good, but you're going to work on that stability too. If this is too much for your shoulder, you can bring your hand to your hip. If you want a little bit more opening, you can reach your hand behind your back towards your right hip. Another inhale here. Exhale, float your hand down. You're going to take a big step up with your right foot, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll your spine up. And make your way up to Swan pose. Going right into the other side, step back with your left foot. Coming into your lunge, so bending into your right knee this time. Inhale here. Exhale, left hand comes to the floor. Reach your right arm up. Same options as the other side, although you don't have to do the same thing. Keep lifting through the back of your left knee if you have your knee off the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, your right hand comes down to the floor. Shift your weight to your right foot. Big step up, forward fold. Inhale, slowly rise up. And coming back up to your mountain pose. Good. Now from here, let's take a turn sideways one more time. You're going to widen your feet about shoulder width apart. Turn your toes up towards the corners of your mat. Getting ready for that malasana, that low yogi squat. So if you want your blocks ready to sit on or whatever else, grab those real quick. We'll start with our hands at our heart. Inhale here. Exhale, start to squat down. So as you get lower, notice if your chest starts to lean forward, try to keep your spine tall and upright and sit back and down rather than leaning forward with your chest. Then you can create more or less space between your feet, whatever you need to be more comfortable. If your heels are lifted, maybe rolling up the back edge of your mat for a little extra support feels good. And again, you can always sit on some sort of prop here, create a little seat. Close your eyes, bring your hands together at heart center. If you'd like to place your elbows on the insides of your thighs and press your palms together for a little bit more hip opening, go for it. Remember, keep your heart lifted. If you're pressing your palms together, release that pressure. We're going to take a little twist here. So bringing your right hand down in front of your right foot, fingertips pointing the same direction as your toes. Inhale, open your left arm up and out to the side. You can keep your arms wide, or you can reach that left hand behind your back. If the bind is in your practice, go for it. If you want to play with it, if you don't know if it's in your practice, also go for it. Inhale, come back to center, hands to your heart. Exhale, twisting in the other direction. So left hand down, right hand opens. Same options as before. Whatever you want to play with. This is your practice. Own it. Make it your own. So as long as this isn't painful, notice that discomfort that you may feel. Inhale, untwist, hands back to your heart, neutral spine. So this isn't a position that we come into very often, but it's really good for your knees. It helps lubricate your knee joints by bringing them through that full range of motion. So try to get a little squat in every day, and it's going to get more and more comfortable. And it's also, again, going to keep lubricating those knees, and it's going to feel good the more that you do it. All right, so let's come down to our seats. Oh, stretch those legs out. Let's give those knees some love. Give them a little massage. Rock them side to side. Slap it out. Whatever feels good here. All right, so from here, let's bring the soles of our feet together. Then you can draw your feet in closer if you'd like. You can keep them further out. You want to make sure your sits bones are grounded. If this is too much and your knees stick way up, put your props underneath your thighs. Help support them, whatever level feels good to you. If you don't have props and your knees are sticking up, that's fine too. Work with what you got. So holding on to your legs, whatever's accessible here. Inhale for a long spine. Exhale, lean forward. Try to keep your spine long. So similar to when we started and we're folding over that one leg, try to keep your spine long. Try not to drop your head down. Try not to crank your neck. So think of creating 0 wrinkles in your neck. You can bring your elbows to the insides of your legs, encouraging a little more opening if you'd like. Stick with it. A couple more breaths. With your next inhale, come back up. Beautiful job. All right, so let's come forward and stretch both legs out, toes towards your knees, so feet are flexed. Press your hands into the mat beside you. Good. So this helps open your chest, drops your shoulders away from your ears, just a neutral staff pose. With your inhale, reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Feel your sits bones press into the mat as you do this. Feel your spine lengthening. Feel yourself get a little bit taller. And go ahead and release. All right, so we're going to come back onto your mat. We're going to come back into your tabletop. Let's take an inhale for a cow and exhale for a cat. We're going to work into puppy pose, which can be a deep back bend. So practice where it's safe. I invite you to find that little area of discomfort, but remember that whatever you get into, you have to find your way out. So from here, just start walking your hands forward. Try to keep those hips above your knees, so try not to let them sink back. It's not a child's pose. Maybe you come down to your elbows here. Let your heart melt down towards the floor. So this is arching of your back. Maybe start to walk your arms further away, bringing your chest closer to the floor, forehead closer to the floor. And if you're super open here, you can bring your chin to the floor, gazing forward. Two more breaths, in through your nose, and out through your nose. When you're ready, wherever you are, start to come back to your tabletop. Good. Bring your knees together, toes together, sit back onto your heels, belly on your thighs, forehead towards the floor, and hands back. So this version of child's pose is really nice after back bending because it allows you to round your spine and neutralize. And start to stretch your arms out in front of you. Walk your hands forward. Come back onto your belly. And remember that thing we did in the beginning where we did 1 foot at a time? Well, we're going to go for full bow pose now. We'll do it twice in case you're more comfortable with just doing one side at a time. If that's really what your challenge pose is today, go for it. Do the one side. So I'll offer it twice. And now that you've been a little bit more warmed up, let's see what you can do. So bring your forehead down to the floor. Bend both knees and reach back. Grab 1 foot at a time, both feet at a time. And then notice if your feet or your knees start to separate. You can't really see that in the video, but there's space between my knees. So bring your knees together. Try to keep your knees in line with your hip. If you have a block, you can even put this block in between your knees and keep squeezing it to make sure that they stay close together. Because if you open it out wide, your block's going to drop. So holding on to your ankles, draw your heels in towards your hips. Remember, you can do just one side at a time if you'd like. Take a deep breath in. With your exhale, push your feet into your hands. Let your chest lift up, shoulders roll back. Reach your feet up towards the ceiling. You may feel a little rock here if you're still breathing into your belly. Make sure those knees didn't start to widen. One more big breath in. Exhale, go ahead and release down. Stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands, and sweep your knees or your feet from side to side, windshield wipers. And let's try that other side if you're doing one at a time, or let's go for both feet again at the same time. Reach on back. Grab what you can. Draw your heels in towards your hips. Take an inhale here. Exhale, push your feet into your hands. Lift up. Inhale here. Exhale, release down. Stack your hands. Shake it out. Another option to release your lower back after some back bending is to come into a half crocodile, bending one knee, bringing your knee up in line with your hip, toes point away. All right. So from here, you're on your belly, roll over onto your right side. From here, you're going to draw your knees up in line with your hips, and your toes are going to be pointing forward. Your heels are in line with your knees, so your body is a zigzag shape. You're going to stretch your right arm out, head rests down. You're going to stretch your, I think I'm mirroring you guys again. So stretch your right arm out, stack it on top of your left. Inhale, reach your top arm up. Exhale, reach it behind you. I'm a little close to the wall, so I got to bend my elbow, but if you can go back with a long arm, do that. So we're going to come into our spinal twist from our side today. Normally we say keep your shoulders grounded, but since we're starting from the side, we're going to keep the hips and knees grounded instead, and just let your shoulder fall back as close to the floor as it wants to go. You can turn your gaze away from your knees to bring the twist up into your neck. If you're being more gentle on your neck today, turn your gaze towards your knees. Or up towards the ceiling, that's also an option. Whatever feels good to you. Another big breath in and out. Inhale, slowly start to roll back over onto your right side. Create a little pillow with your bottom arm. Hug your knees into your chest. Come into the fetal position for a moment. Round your back here. And then from this rounded, try rolling over to your other side. Again, a little close to the wall. So you're going to line your knees up with your hips, heels up with your knees, toes pointing away. Stretch both arms out long. Inhale, stretch your top arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let that arm fall back. Let your shoulder melt down towards the floor. Turn your gaze where it's comfortable. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Inhale, start to lift your arm back up and over, curling into your fetal position. Use your arm as a pillow. Tuck your knees into your chest. Squeeze. And roll onto your back. And then stretch your feet up towards the ceiling, just like we did in the beginning. Just notice if it feels different now than it did before. Remember, you're just observing. This is what mindfulness is. Non-judgmental observation. So just noticing things as they are, not placing judgment on them, not trying to do anything about them, solve any problems, figure out what happens next. Just notice. And from here, let's come into that happy baby one more time. Bend your knees, drop into the outsides of your rib cage. Any of those grips that feel good to you. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Spread your knees out towards the edges of the room, holding onto the outsides of your feet. Feel that nice stretch throughout your hips, your shoulders. Maybe get a little bit up your neck. And then let go of your feet. Gently place your feet on the floor. Knees are still wide. You can scoot your feet further away. You can bring your feet closer, whatever feels good to you. I invite you to stay in this position for your Shavasana, your final relaxation. If you prefer a different variation, like stretching out your legs, go for it. I invite you to bring your left hand to your heart, right hand to your belly. Just feel your breath. Close your eyes, breathe naturally. Feel this life force traveling through your body. It's carried by your breath. So we like to say inhale, inflate your belly, and that's not really air doing that work. That's muscular movement from your diaphragm. We don't really breathe into our belly. We send our energy there. With your breath, guide this prana, this fresh life force, deep into your belly. See if you can find that place below your right hand. Let's see if you can send this fresh energy a little bit lower, setting it down into your hips. We tend to store a lot of emotional energy in our hips. So if something comes up, just notice. Try not to give it extra attention. And then try sending this vital life energy down your thighs into your knee joints. Our knees do so much for us, whether they're moving as we walk or stabilizing as we stand. They allow us to do so much. Now send this vital life energy down your calves and your shins, through your ankles, through the soles of your feet, all the way down to your toes. Send it to each one of your toes. Notice if you can feel this energy traveling between your 2 feet, the points of contact that your feet are making with each other, this connection. With your feet together here, you're creating one big circuit of energy. Allow yourself to rest here for a few more moments. Know that there's nowhere to be, nothing to do yet. You set aside this time for yourself today. Just allow yourself to be here. Allow yourself to be present, to enjoy this moment. Start to bring your awareness back to your mat. Start to bring your awareness back to your body. If your feet are together still, start to bring your knees towards each other. Bring your feet to the floor. And then gently rock your knees from side to side. If your legs were long, meet us here. With your knees still rocking from side to side, start to stretch your arms overhead and wiggle your fingers. Coming back to stillness. Bring your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a hug here. Wrap your arms around your shins or your thighs. Reach your chest up towards your thighs. Big squeeze. And roll over onto your right side. Come into the fetal position. Try to keep your eyes closed here for just a few more moments. And then as you're ready, press yourself upright and come to a comfortable seat. So maybe that's coming back to your Sukhasana. Maybe it is stretching your legs out long. Maybe it's come to sitting on your feet. Whatever feels good to you here. So with your eyes closed, let's take 3 cleansing breaths together. In through your nose. Exhale, sigh out through your mouth. In through your nose. Exhale, mouth. One more time. Bring your hands together in prayer in front of your heart. And I'd like to close this practice with a round of Om. And this may be where you really embrace that area of discomfort. Maybe you don't think you have a nice singing voice or a chanting voice. But you know what? You're in the comfort of your home. Nobody knows. Nobody can hear you. So join me. Let's take a deep breath in. We'll exhale, and then we'll inhale, and then exhale for Om. So one more deep breath in and out. Inhale, get ready. Your next inhale, lift the corners of your mouth to smile. Thank yourselves for stepping on your mat today and spending a little extra time, energy, and love on you. Namaste.